I live here in the Lehigh Valley. I have been blessed by my association with my Muslim friends in the Lehigh Valley, and I have come to know and appreciate and love the unity that is a part of who we are as creatures of a loving God. And I join in the words that we have heard at the table this day, as well as in the message that we have just heard. When I use the words of Micah, part of the traditions that we are all a part of, when Micah says, do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with your God.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be on all of you, in the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. I've prepared a little statement here, but before I get into the statement, what I wanted to do is just express our gratitude for the support of this panel and everybody else who showed up here. We really do appreciate it, and we really look forward to working with all of you in this community as being an active member of the community and active association with the community. So just to begin here, as active leaders and participants in the Lehigh Valley interfaith community, we share a deep sense of obligation to call upon our fellow citizens to treat each other with compassion and honesty, and to foster an ethical commitment to bedrock American values such as pluralism and religious freedom, mutuality and respect, values also at the core of all of our religious traditions. As a result of the hearings held by the House Committee on Homeland Security yesterday, our obligation takes on a renewed urgency. We gather together to affirm that we stand united with all Americans in urging our elected representatives to act, not against a single unfairly maligned group, but against all forms of violence and extremism that endanger our security. As spiritual leaders and people of faith, we call on the United States Congress, elected officials at every level of government, and all American citizens not to perpetuate damaging false witness against our neighbors. Instead, we encourage all communities of faith and people of goodwill throughout this country to stand shoulder to shoulder in communities of growing awareness, trust, and hope. All of our faith communities share a powerful prohibition against bearing false witness, with the understanding that destroying a person's reputation is tantamount to destroying his or her life. To assert that Muslims as a broad group are not deeply devoted to America's safety and the peaceful interaction of its entire citizenry, that is false witness. By subjecting American Muslims to such scrutiny, we weaken our more perfect union, and we harm the national vision of our common good that is a witness to the nations. We encourage all citizens of this country to honor freedoms guaranteed by our Constitution that enable the free exercise of religion across our great land. Far from a radicalized fringe group, Muslims are woven into the American tapestry. I was born and raised in this country. Muslims serve as teachers and factory workers, doctors and lawyers, social service volunteers, and loving parents. In these and other vocations, Muslims work hard, give back to their communities, and worship in peace. The Muslim community's members work closely with the leaders of the Lehigh Valley and other faith groups where we study our sacred texts together, we pray together, we join hands to address issues of shared concerns such as homelessness, interfaith education, and support for those who are in need. The rationale for these hearings rests on an assertion that the American Muslim community has failed to support American law enforcement in its efforts against terrorism. This assertion is false. A study by Duke University indicated that the largest single source of initial information in helping prevent terrorist attacks were members of the Muslim community. In fact, the American Muslim community is deeply engaged in preventing terrorism. We regret that the Committee on Homeland Security held such a hearing yesterday with specific focus on the Muslim community, and in the future, we encourage its members to listen not only to the voices of Muslim Americans and the law enforcement community, but also to witnesses from other faith communities, leaders who can stand up for the good character and ethical behavior of their Muslim brothers and sisters. It is unfortunate that Chairman King did not call any law enforcement experts to testify to the claims that he has made. As faith leaders, we are committed to building a future in which extremism is an artifact of the past, and where religious identity is not the cause of hostility, but of acceptance. We believe that politicians, cultural figures, and members of the media are never justified in exploiting religious differences in order to speak out or in order to advance ideological or political aims. Our leaders in Congress and the administration must stand up and speak out against these hearings that perpetuate misrepresentations and harm our country rather than lead it to greater awareness and to a strengthened citizenry. Finally, spiritual leaders have a moral responsibility and a sacred calling to categorically denounce mockery, misinformation, or outright bigotry directed against anyone, regardless of faith community. Silence is not an option. Only by taking a stand together can we fulfill the highest calling of our respective faiths and thereby play a role in building a safer and more secure America. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you for being here. And I hear some stomach growling, and we have some hearty falafels and some pizza if you wish. So please join